Hey guys, welcome back to another video. What we're going to be talking about today is a tale as old as time, right? Mac versus Windows. Doesn't matter what computer you get, what laptop you get, if you're trying to program, if you're trying to become a software engineer, is one better than the other? And is it really, doesn't matter? It doesn't matter at all, right? Is it just a bunch of bullshit? Probably not. What I would say is you should probably get a Mac, in all honesty. Let me explain why. So Mac is Unix based and it has this thing called the terminal, right? And what you can do, you can use the terminal to write programs, you can run them, you can run local servers, you can call different programs from your terminal, and you can basically do a lot of cool stuff that's built natively into the Mac that you can't really do on a Windows computer. As a software engineer, I usually have, terminal open somewhere on my computer at all times because I'm usually running different things, looking for different outputs, and it really makes my life a lot easier when I'm programming. The thing is, on Mac, this is native. Like I said before, on Mac, this is built into the program. On Windows, what they have is this thing called command prompt, and that's kind of based in MS-DOS. And, web servers of today, database servers of today, they're usually more Unix based, right? So if you're a software engineer and you want to get programming experience with web servers, with database servers, it's probably the best to use a Mac when you're working with those things. Now you can get terminal on a Windows computer. You can use this thing called Cygwin where it builds a terminal on your computer, on your Windows computer. But the thing is that it's always updating. There's always something that's going to be crashing. And it's not native. That's the thing. It's not native to Windows. So there's always going to be some kind of problem when you're setting it up, right? It's very difficult to set up and you're always going to be running into some kind of issue. At least that was my experience. So what you'll quickly see in the industry as you start becoming a software engineer, working full time, stuff like that, you're going to realize that a lot of professionals really use a Mac, right? If you think about iOS development, obviously you're going to need to use a Mac. You have no other choice because you're pushing apps to the iPhone. If you're using, Ruby or Node.js, these two softwares were kind of built for use on a Mac, and it's kind of difficult to get them running on Windows. And you really don't have to be like a software engineer to get this point. There's also, like, if you're a designer and you're trying to use one of the best softwares to use as a designer is Sketch. It's a great program and it's only available on Mac. So if you're a designer trying to get some really relevant experience that is much needed in the workplace, using a Mac and using Sketch is probably going to be your best shot at getting a job and getting really relevant experience. Even front-end developers, right? They use Mac to run Node.js, they use Mac to run Ruby on Rails, Node Package Manager, Brew Package Manager, right? A lot of these frameworks were built for Mac users in mind. And so as a result, if you're using a Mac, you have much more variety in terms of what frameworks you're using, and it makes your life as a software developer so much easier, right? And even for backend developers, if you want to work with database systems, if you want to work with system administration or site reliability, it's really useful for these things to have a Unix background. And Mac is built on Unix and it's native to the system. So if you're using a Mac, it'll give you an advantage when working with these kind of things because it's already built in natively into the Mac and you'll have a lot of relevant experience from the get-go. So iOS engineers, right? Front-end engineers, back-end engineers, even designers, all of them are using Macs. And it's like that for a reason, for the things I've explained before. It makes your life a lot easier. And really, a lot of the foundational technologies that a lot of people are using today were built for Mac users in mind, right? If you're an Android developer or if you're working with Java, it probably doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But like, let's say you're developing for Android, and then to really have a complete product, you need an iOS version of your Android app too, right? So using a Mac in that respect will kind of give you even more experience because you'll be able to build a more complete project. And regardless, being an Android engineer and getting relevant iOS engineering experience will do nothing but good things for your career. I would say use Windows if you're an ASP.NET developer. That is usually developed on Visual Studio, and that works really well. It's native to Windows. You can get it on Mac, but the experience isn't as good on a Mac as it is on Windows. So, there's really certain cases where getting a Windows is better, but I would say for the most part, if you're just trying to become a software engineer today, get a Mac. That being said, though, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter that much. Everything you can do on a Mac, you can do on a Windows. It'll just take a bit more work, but you'll probably end up saving a bit of money. So, if you're committed enough, if you want it enough, you really don't have to get a Mac. I know, like, when I started, I really wanted a Mac and it was pretty expensive. I spent a lot of money and, but it was worth it for me down the road. So at the end of the day, regardless, you can succeed with or without a Mac, with or without a Windows. It genuinely doesn't matter. Not a lot of things really matter, right? So do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. Let me know if you guys agree with me, if I got anything wrong, if I'm just a complete idiot in this video. But I would say, there's a reason why you go to conferences and you see all the engineers on Macs. There's a reason why when you go to work, everyone's working on a Mac, right? It's because Macs are probably more relevant. They're probably better, easier to use. The whole experience is much better if you're a software engineer. So guys, hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.